Folks, last night, Donald Trump had a rally, one of his usual raucous affairs, and he was just patting himself on the back. Just how black people just love him. Listen to this.
So something I'm very proud of, African-American unemployment has reached its lowest rate ever recorded. African-American poverty has reached its lowest rate ever recorded. Think of those two sound bites. The lowest unemployment, the lowest rate of poverty. So think of this.
I don't know what happened to the sound there, but let me go to our panel, of course, Wendy, Brandon, and Ray. Brandon, I love it how Trump loves to talk about black people in front of these all-white rallies. Yeah. Okay? He won't come talk to black people. He won't do black media. You won't see him do a town hall in front of black people. It's not like he will sit down with civil rights activists, actually have a discussion. He'll have a hand-picked group of black pastors he'll speak to, and then he'll tout all this sort of stuff, and nobody gives any pushback when it comes to facts. I can lay down a litany of examples where his policies have actually been a detriment to black folks. What's up with the whole patting himself on the back like black? Okay, so y'all now have the tape fixed. Okay, now, y'all want to hear him say how black people are thanking him left and right. So press play.
Think of those two sound bites. The lowest unemployment, the lowest rate of poverty. So think of this. How does you're African American? How do you vote for somebody else? I've done more for them in 2 years. African Americans are coming up and they're saying, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you. And their median income is the highest. But not only for African American, for Asian, for Hispanic.
I'm looking for these black people. I'm looking for these black people. I'm trying to figure out where are they located. Brandon, what the hell is he talking about?
As often it is with Trump, I don't know. So you have to find someone else to be clapping and praising Trump, because no one in this room, I think, will be clapping and praising. But I will say, just to this topic of increased approval, I do think, again, as we saw in this year's election, and maybe it was because Barack Obama, the first black president, ran in past two elections, but Trump did broke a trend as far as black support. He got 8%, which is higher than the past two Republican nominees. But again, that could have been because Barack Obama was on the other side of the ticket. But also last month, you saw in August, or 2 months ago, NAACP did a poll, NAACP, that showed about 21% approval in the black community. Now again, NAACP poll may be wrong.
Hold up.
It's historically been low.
Hold up. I'm aware of the poll. Okay. And then Rasmussen had their report. Their poll, which was
Rasmussen's most accurate poll during the 2016 election.
Hold up. Stop. First of all,
that's fact.
If we're gonna talk about Rasmussen,
that's fact.
Rasmussen is the closest to Comedy Central polling.
It was most accurate during 2016.
Now the Pew polling. Now the Pew polling also came out, and it was about 6 to 8% of black support. Ray Baker, again, 6 to 8%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But again, Rasmussen,
6 to 8.
It
ain't 30. Okay, how about this here, Brandon? Or the black people you know, the 35% of the black people you know think Trump is doing great?
Privately, I would say about 20%, I think, in line with NAACP.
Which means the Rasmussen poll is BS. Ray Baker, go ahead.
So I think that President Trump it really entertains us whenever he has these grandiose references to black people that he knows that think he's doing so well. Yet we have a difficult time to see anyone who's a black person who's not on his payroll being able to say very good things for him. Listen, Brandon just went to the mat on our last segment for a conservative justice who's been accused of sexual assault and yet is standing 10 feet away from President Trump. That should tell us everything we need to know about the distance that African Americans, even African American Republicans, have regarding the president.
Wendy?
You know, this president often has these entertaining exchanges amongst himself, but I do not know who these black people are. And if you could show me these black people, I would love to meet them. What really bothers me is this type of generic language that he uses. The African Americans believe. Like, it's just so condescending. And I think in his head, he thinks he's the great white hope. So I just don't know any of these African Americans, but furthermore, I think that this is just a string and a tile in the mosaic of lies that is the Trump administration.
Okay, well, I asked contact NAACP and find out who they talk to in their
Brandon,
poll. That would
nobody,
be one. You asked a question,
you're
I gave you an
lying.
answer.
Nobody,
I'm giving you an answer.
And I'm giving you
Okay.
an answer.
A back
there
answer.
are no.
I didn't ask the question
There
now.
are
You asked the
no,
question.
There are. I didn't ask the question.
You said, who are these
there
black people?
are no black people who are stopping Trump in the street to pat him on the
Of
back.
course.
Furthermore,
Right.
if you look at any of these rallies that he has done, please point out to me the black people, because we all know if there were black people, they would be standing right behind him. So do not sit here and try to corroborate, as you put it, evidence that is not even
I
there.
didn't
These
corroborate
black
nothing.
people do not, quote unquote, support him. And I would like
And
to
you're
say
talking about
this.
speaking in generalities.
Let me
Here you
finish.
go
Let
speaking
me
in
finish. Let me
generalities.
finish. No,
You just criticized
no,
Trump
no, I
for
was
speaking
about
in
to make
generalities.
this
Here you
comment.
are speaking. Black people don't
No,
like.
no, I was about to make
That's
this
fine.
comment. Black people are not
Okay.
monolithic. We're able
But you're
to,
speaking like they're monolithic.
Brandon,
You did it. Yeah.
no.
Okay.
Black people are not monolithic.
Okay.
They could vote for and they could be a part of any party they choose. But for him to sit here and make such blanket statements that we all know are false are beyond the pale, especially as the president. Thank you, Brandon.
You're welcome.
Bottom line
by
is,
yourself.
Trump gonna lie. He gonna lie. He gonna lie all damn day. So let's just not confuse this with anything else. And the bottom line is this here: Donald Trump. See, this is also why you know he lying. If things were so great for black people, then why is he trying to get rid of the U.S. Minority Supply Development Council? Why? That's the only federal agency that is there to help minority businesses grow. His budget wants to wipe them completely out. That's a fact. If he's doing so great among black people, why is it he's refused to go speak to the NAACP? Why has he refused to go speak to the National Urban League, a group that George W. Bush spoke to 4 or 5 times in the 8 years he was president? Why is it that he won't go actually sit down with any members of the black press? Why is it that he actually won't sit down and talk to various black organizations? It is because he has nothing to say. That is why. Folks, when it comes to black people, Donald Trump is all hat and no cattle. That's one of the phrases that we have in Texas. That means he talks a good game, but he can't back it up. He knows it, and we know it.